What is going on, crypto fam? This is your boy Jay from How to Crypto, coming back to you guys with another video. And man, have got good news. And you know, a lot of people have been waiting for this, including myself. Now, there have been a lot of questions answered, but there was a lot of questions that were kind of sidestepped, and I'll go through them with you guys as I read, the conversation. So, fellow user on Telegram, Crypto Storm, his name is Donald, got an interview with Julian, the CEO of Davor. Um, I don't know how he pulled that off, but I'm glad that he got that, and I hope this is legit. So this can calm a lot of minds. This could calm a lot of people who have FUD, a lot of people who are calling, this a scam, a lot of people who are hating, a lot of people, just in general. I hope it brings peace, because of course we want this platform to survive. We are heavily invested in it, and so are other people, and we don't want no one to lose their money. So let's get into it. So Julian says, "Hello guys, it's Julian. I know you guys have questions for me, so I'm ready to answer." Crypto Storm says, "Hello Julian, this is Donald. I created the channel." Julian says, "This is me." And then Crypto Storm says, "Julian, I have a lot of questions for you." So I'm assuming that he asked him about the $1 million lending lottery. Julian responded, "We did not feel it was desperate at all. We wanted to bring excitement in a period that is not excited at all." And I'm the one who basically said, "Hey, this sounds like a desperate move to me. This sounds like they needed to create this in order to entice people to sign up to the platform." And of course, he needs to say this. He needs to say, "This is not a desperate move. We just simply want to bring happiness in a time where everything is going wrong. We want to be that shining light. We want to be, we want to show you guys that we are here for you." And that's what he has to do. He is the face of a company, and he has to make sure that they look good at all times. So take it for what you want. Take it, guys. Interpret it how you want. It's in plain text right there. So let's move on. Crypto Storm said, "Yesterday we got together and made a list of questions to go over. The first being, we want to know the status of Davor as a platform." He said, "What do you mean by status?" He says, "Okay, so with everything going on in crypto and all of the lending programs, we were wondering how Davor is doing." He says, "Okay, I see." He said, "We need answers and we will get them." Okay. So, well, things are, let's say, different, says Julian. We were doing so well until BitConnect stopped. It's like we hit a wall. But when you look deep, it does not make any difference for us that BitConnect stopped. It could have also been good news because we could have gotten all the community from BitConnect, but we were the only great platform alive. But instead of that, there has been fear everywhere and has made things very complicated up to where it's now. It's a shame because everything has been made to work right." So he says, "Hey, look, our platform is great. Our platform was meant to survive things like this, but fear is what is keeping us from thriving." He says, "Look, it didn't really affect us that BitConnect stopped. It only affected us because this incited fear. So it doesn't matter if they stopped." In his eyes, he says it that did not affect our plan. That was not a thing that we even took into consideration because it wouldn't have mattered. Now the only reason why it matters is because of the fear. So Crypto Storm says, "I can understand that, sir. So I have the questions and I'm going to start now." So number one, everyone is wondering how Davor is and will it be different than BitConnect? And he says, "BitConnect has been here for a long time, more than a year. We know that they had connections in the US, and that is why they had issues. We have since the beginning explained that privacy was important because you cannot settle a crypto in a country while you don't know the regulations or how they're going to change in the next weeks. Well, what could we have done, for example, is settle in Switzerland, and the next week Switzerland bans all cryptos. We would have to close. So by staying anonymous from the beginning, we have been safer than BitConnect, regardless of regulations. Not to mention that BitConnect started to have problems more than a year after having started, and we are here only 3 months." So I kind of paraphrase that, guys, because the way he speaks is kind of weird. It's not proper. Um, but so he's saying we're not going to have the issues that Davor had, because one of Davor's things that they said. He said, we have to stop the lending because the cease and desist and all this. And that were saying, hey, look, we're anonymous, so we're not tied to any legal form of a country, like any legal laws that there may be. We're not going to be tied to that because we're not stationed anywhere. I don't know where they are. So he says we don't have to go by any country's laws because we are anonymous. That's basically what they're saying. So CryptoStorm says thank you. So question 2, one of the biggest questions when it comes to communication with Davor. We would like to know what plans you have to communicate with us investors so that we can have talks like this. Julian says we have 4 social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram. Everyone can post comments and discuss with the community except on Telegram. I know there's a Davor Coin community group that's a great initiative. I think that you can find a places everywhere to discuss within the community, and we have chosen not to officialize your Telegram so that we have a space that is 100% free, and I think that's great to have. So he's just saying that you could communicate with us, on all of these 4 social medias, but I think what CryptoStorm says, like, hey, we need a way to communicate with you guys, and we need you guys to respond promptly, and he gets into this a little bit deeper, into the conversation, but that's what, basically saying. And he says, well, look, we have a Telegram, but we haven't made official, so everyone can speak their mind freely. They can call it a scam, they can bash it, whatever, without it being regulated, because on their Facebook, people leave stuff and they mark it as spam, and I guess that's a good thing. So CryptoStorm says, I do understand that, however, there are many fake profiles everywhere and people are getting scammed, so we're wondering if there's a way to communicate more on a level such as this. Most lending platforms have official Telegram to speak with the developer teams. So I know we have this issue on Facebook with someone creating lots of fake Davor Coin pages, answering messages, and we are banning them as fast as we can. CryptoStorm answers, that's awesome. Possible to have you back here maybe periodically to answer things. That this builds trust. And, he is totally right. CryptoStorm, the reason why Crypto Wolf and I initially started with Davor is because they were so transparent, where a lot of other, lending programs weren't transparent. Davor was, they communicated promptly, and that gave us a lot of confidence in them, and that is, one of the biggest reasons why we started. And the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been that way, and people have lost a lot of faith because of that. So, we will never know, what's going on behind closed doors, and they could be telling us something totally different. But when you have communication, it just builds a bond and you get a lot more trust. So let's continue. So CryptoStorm, so that's awesome. Nope, wrong one. So V says that he needs to verify to make sure this is him. So he advises Julian, to send him an email so he can, validate this guy as being the real Julian. So CryptoStorm then asks Julian for the email address. So Julian says, can you please send me another email confirming these investors? Julian says, yes, but you need to understand that our community is really huge. For example, we're doing private messages on Facebook, but once people are seeing us answering questions, they were not stopping asking questions, giving their advice, and so on. We can answer hundreds of thousands of people. They can't, he says. I totally agree, Julian. It happened so fast, but thank you. So during that time, Julian responded to V, and he says, indeed, that this is the real Julian of Davor, whatever however you guys pronounce this, and they validated him as this being legit. So it's a really good thing, guys, that we are talking to the person that we think we're talking to, especially in a matter like this. So question 3, CryptoStorm starts by saying, what can you do to assure us that our capital is safe with Davor? Sorry, Julian, as you know, there's a lot of people that are just lost. Julian says, I can tell you that our system is strong. If you remember what I was saying since the beginning, our only objective was to be long-term players. So we built a very safe platform. If you look at all the attacks we have, we've been able to clear them in very short time before BitConnect shuts down. We both had the same attack. They took 2 days to resolve while we took 2 hours. We proved that we worked hard to create a safe environment to protect everyone's capital. So he doesn't really answer the question. He says, well, for how I'm interpreting this, he's Crypto Storm saying like, how do we know it's safe in there? How do we know that you guys actually have it? And Julian responded with, hey, you are your capital safe because we took these measures and because we stopped these two things from happening. I don't know, maybe I'm just like not reading this correctly, but we all interpret things a little bit different. But it goes on to saying, what are the things though that is protecting our capital? It plays into number 4, which we are wanting to know financial stability of Davor itself at this moment. So technically it's to create the safest platform as possible, so you won't have issues like the other lending platforms. Saying we've have been hacked, they've took everything, this will not happen to us. And second, we have algorithms with stop losses and some trading techniques to secure all positions. CryptoStorm says, very nice, sir. At this moment, for your question number 4, the overall environment is complicated with all cryptocurrencies falling apart. So it is much harder to make profits, but that does not mean that we're losing money either. Then CryptoStorm says, so Davor's still a positive position. This number 5 is a big. Julian answers yes. And then he says, we are wanting to know the biggest struggles that you are having and how we can, as a community, help assist you and us. We will be getting to the bugs, guys. I'm assuming he's talking to somebody in the chat. And then Julian is gracious to be here. Julian then responds, our biggest struggles are external factors, and that is what is horrible. It all comes from the outside. Outside is what is doing it. It all comes from fear, confidence, and many people are using that to add FUD. I'm sure this FUD guys are people that haven't had enough money to invest or don't have the balls to do it. But if I can turn the struggle into hope, I will say that if BTC comes back, I'm sure we will have a positive impact on us, because I don't know if you've noticed, but when BTC goes up, we're going even higher. When BTC goes down, we're going even lower. So, he's just saying that all the fear mongers, all the people calling this a scam is what is really hurting them, as well as the price of Bitcoin. And those are two of the main factors that I named in my video. I'll go ahead and list that above so you guys could watch it, of why the price of Davor and it has been going down. I mentioned the price of Bitcoin and fear. So CryptoStorm said, okay, Julian, on to the next question. If BTC continues to crash, what is the next move for us? Does Davor have the capital to make sure that current investors aren't left broke? He says, until now, BTC has gone down. We have gone down even harder. That's pure observation. I'm talking about DAV price. As I said before, that does not mean we're losing money. So here he doesn't really answer the question again. CryptoStorm asks him, does Davor have the capital to make sure that current investors aren't left broke? And a better answer, in my opinion, would have been, we have your capital. Your capital is safe, and in the case that this goes down, you will all get your money back. But this is not what he has chosen to say. He went more of an indirect route. He's just saying, look, it all depends right now on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, we make money. If Bitcoin goes down, our Davor price goes down. As that's how he's wording things. Of course, he has to word things very carefully. He is the only face at Davor that we know. So he has to be meticulous in the things that he says, because if he says one thing out of context, people will take that and run with it, and just have a field day with it. We know how these communities are. So he has to be picky in what he says, but could he had said this much better? Yes, he could have, because to me this isn't a direct answer to this question, and I wish he could have answered it a little bit better. But I mean, we're getting an answer, and that's what we asked, right? So CryptoStorm says, we appreciate that. Do you have a limit at which Davor would need to close up like a BTC floor? So he's CryptoStorm asks, like at what price would Davor close if whatever price BTC hits? And Julian says, no, we don't have any limit for that. He said, thank you. On to the next question. He said, of course, if we have less investors, the price will go down. That's supply and demand. We need new people on board to buy DAV from users selling their interest or selling their DAV they are holding. If the buying power is less on the than the selling power, then price will go down. That's what's happening right now. With the BTC fall, less people want to buy BTC, and with BitConnect stop lending, that less people willing to buy from lending platforms. That's the double effect. And again, he's saying, the faith that was lost with BitConnect going is the reason why they're struggling, as well as the dip in Bitcoin. So he's saying, hey, look, we need people, to buy and sell. We need day traders, and this doesn't only apply, to Davor. This applies to anything. If you go to, if we're in the stock market, if everybody just decides to hold and there's no trading going on, something's gonna happen. If a store isn't selling anything, they're going away. If your local gym, no one signs up to them, they're going to crash. They're going to go broke. And it's the same thing with them. They need active day traders to trade the coin. This is how we make money and then determine the value. So that fear is there, and no one is doing this because of that fear. So either everyone's selling it off or everyone's holding, and no one's doing what we need to do, and that is trade the coin. So next question, he says, that's a fact, Julian. If we decide that Davor needs to close down, with the current investors be able to recoup their investment? Again, I don't feel like he answered it in the way that I would like him to answer, and I know a lot of people are looking more of a direct answer, but he says, we're not planning on closing anytime soon. I'm not seeing any reason why we should close down for now. For me, it has only started. I've been asked for this since the start of the ICO. I understand this is a concern, but my answer has not changed. You see, he's not really answering the question. Of course, he has to answer in this way because he is the face of that company. If he says anything negative, anything to leave any doubt, this will crash right away. So again, he has to be very, very picky with the words that he says, and anything that he says will be, targeted. And so he's just choosing not to answer directly, because he could have easily said, again, yes, if this crashes, we have your money and you will get your capital back. That's all he had to say. But instead, he chose to say something totally different. I don't know why. But again, I'm not a CEO. I'm saying? I'm not the face of no company. But if it was my company, this is how I would answer if I had the funds available. Just saying. Crypto says, okay, awesome news. Next question, sir. With CND and CND meaning cease and desist and everything, if some state come after you in the same manner, would that stop you guys? He says, I explained above, this thing should not happen to us. And he says, it's not going to happen to us because, we are anonymous. That's basically how he says it. He said, Crypto Storm says, I don't see your company falling as I don't see mine falling. But if it happened to you, have you set capital aside to make sure that we don't end up with nothing? And again, he sidesteps the question. He says, at the moment, there is no issue at all above that. So, he's not directly answering this question. He just says, no, there is no issue right now. And that is, I wish he would just say no. That would alleviate a lot of worried, users. That would put so much faith back, because even though they could be lying, it would still alleviate a lot of worries. A lot of people who are freaking out. Some people are just freaking out. Some people are like, have lost all hope, have lost all faith, and thinking that this is the end. If he would have just said, yeah, look, we have set the capital aside since the beginning to make sure that our investors get their money back in case anything happens. But that is not what is being said, guys. I'm not, creating any FUD. I'm not, for negativity. I'm just a realist. And in my realist opinion, things could have been said better. But again, on to the next question. And he says, okay, next question. We wanted to ask about Hedge Connect. And I mentioned this one in my video as well. Going to leave that up top. He says, thanks about asking that. If you had not asked me that, I would have said it in the end. Hedge Connect is complete bull. They sent me an email a few weeks ago asking how to invest in Davor. I replied with the normal answers, and they answered okay. So I announced publicly an agreement. So Edge Connect asked them, "Hey, you know, say this publicly." I said, "An agreement of what?" They said that we will invest in Davor. And he answers, I said, anyone can invest in Davor. I'm sure from the beginning they were not planning on investing at all. They just use our name to make their ICO work, and now they just pretend that they don't want to invest anymore so they can keep the money. So what he's saying is that, Hedge Connect reached out to them, and he's like, hey, can you make this public that we're going to invest so and so money into, Davor? So they basically wanted to ride Davor's wave. Julian said, "Man, you guys are full of it. You can invest at any time. 5 million, 10 million, whatever you want to invest, you can invest just like anyone else. We don't need to make this public. Like, why are you asking me to give you any shine? Like, it's not gonna do us like any good." So Crypto Storm answered, "That's pretty shady of them to do." Next question. He's like, he said, wanted to know if trading we want to know if it was trading normally. The rates are extremely low. They're talking about the arbitrage. He said the instability of the market makes it arbitrage harder these days since the BTC fall, but it happens. It's normal market conditions. We have the same in the stock market. So these are not the best days for arbitrage for sure, but we will have better conditions like we had in December. As you guys know, December was the peak of Bitcoin when it reached almost $20,000. He's saying things like this happen, guys. It's going to happen. It's not the best time right now, but hopefully it picks up. He said, is it functionally correct though? He said, of course. An investor asked if we could know which arbitrage you employ and is it possible to in any way. Julian then responded, the idea of arbitrage is to find different prices others don't see. If we show it, then there is no arbitrage for us. So he said, we can't show our techniques because and then others will employ our techniques and, we will lose money due to people using our techniques, basically. He said, I remember you saying that a long time ago. May we know which one you use? There's a current court dealing with one. He said, which one what? Which arbitrage? He's like, trading arbitrage on cryptocurrencies. There can only be one. Then Crypto says, okay, next question. On a lighter note, how was your trip to Paris? What news can we have? And then he says, Paris trip was really nice, although no American came, but we really had fun with the ones who came. I thought it was important to thank our best promoters. We also basically got to know them, and I thought it was important to thank our best promoters because we also owe them to great adventure we've done so far. We did many activities and some great parties too. We went to see a football game of P&G as well. Sorry guys, it's just really hard, like I said, since it's not like really proper. He said, what kind of announcements from Paris do you have? That sounds fun. I would like to visit next trip. From the Paris trip, we can say for sure that we got closer with our best promoters more than before. They've seen that we're taking everything very seriously. I paraphrased that because it was very hard to read. You guys can read it for yourself here. And it said, Crypto Storm says, thank you. Do you have any media you can share later for the trip? And I like the questions that he's answering. He's being polite, but he's also like, hey, was this trip even made? Because there was nothing on no social media site, like pertaining to the trip that they had. So I like the question. So on to the next question. Julian says, yes, I have some pictures. Julian, we would like to know what is your next goals. And then he said, we really appreciate your time. You don't have no idea what this means to us right here, right now. And he says, every day when I wake up, it's a new fight based on current market conditions. Our goal is to maintain our community during the storm period so that we will be ready to be back where we should be once the sun will come in the market. We're always thinking of strategies to help, but I strongly think that we mostly need a better environment. He said, what do you recommend? He said, what do you mean? Did you mean environment as far as the marketplace in general? He said, yes, Bitcoin environment. I think this is our main issue currently, and we have no control over that. So he's saying, because the price of Bitcoin is down, it is harder for them to make money. In turn, it is hard to give us these higher, interest rates. Crypto Storm says, I understand that. Next question is that, will you be adding any altcoins to the platform? Julian responds, yes, we want to add Ethereum first, but we need to find the right way to do it first because it means either we need to make the exchange between BTC and Ethereum or another exchange only on Ethereum. But yes, that will be our next move for sure. And I'm really excited about that, guys, because these BTC fees are way too high. And personally, I just like Ethereum better. Crypto Storm says, okay, that's awesome. So a bunch of people are asked about sending Dav coin between investors. Can you make this possible? And he said, of course it's possible, but at the same time, if we do that, there are lots of scams that will affect users. We had this issue. Our objective is to create a safe environment and not let people less informed about abuse. Guys, it's 80 minutes. Last question. So, okay, let me find one. And he said, we want to know that issue that affected current loans. It will affect future loans. Was it recovered in coin? What does that do to early loan termination program that you just launched? And he said, what do you mean by the issue affected current loans? After the question, Julian, please say whenever you need for us all to hear. Thank you. And he was specifically talk about the loophole or the glitch. And Julian responds, he says, there was no glitch. Some YouTubers made fake videos. We checked our system and their accounts. They only did new lendings of same amounts, and they pretended their lending wallet was not deducted, but it was all fake. We never had a glitch. These guys are crazy. They just don't know what to invent to attract the audience. And Crypto Storm replies with, Julian, we really appreciate you, and I wanted to know if you could point this Q&A to Twitter. Maybe everyone could get there and compile the things to ask and answer there. Everyone be quiet so Julian can speak about his day. And then Julian responds, well, it was nice chatting with you guys. Thanks for the questions. Have a nice day or evening depending on where you are. Okay, so I know this video is super long, guys, but I did have to make this video for you guys because, again, this may alleviate a lot of people, in a lot of people's minds, a lot of people's worries, a lot of people's, just in general, and people who are heavily invested, as Crypto Wolf and I are, it does bring a little bit of just ease of mind. But we also have a lot of our questions were answered, but some of our questions were kind of hit or miss. Some of the questions that were answered, because he kind of went around some of the questions, and I thought they could have been answered a little bit better. But what can we say? I'm not the face of a company, and I don't have to pick my words precisely. So he did what he had to do, and I really hope this is legit. I hope this is really him speaking. I do thank him if it's him, for coming on here, because most people won't do that. But yeah, guys, for all you haters, as Journal144 says, I don't know what makes you guys want to keep, inciting other people, like worry. Like, why do you guys, want people to fail? I have a whole bunch of comments like, oh, I hope you lose your money. I hope all you, people on these lending platforms, lose your money. Didn't you guys learn from BitConnect? One, we signed up for Davor way before BitConnect. We made our lending package way before BitConnect crashed. So, stop telling us that, because, please, do your research on our channel so you can know when we started. Second is, stop causing people to worry, because for some people, they did things that they shouldn't have done. They put money in here that they couldn't afford to lose. So, this is do or die for some people, and I hope we all get our money back. I hope that this platform lives on, for everyone to get their money back and to hopefully make some money. As we all know, this can't last forever. But I hope that all those who have made, their lending packages get their money back and make some money on the side, because what we all basically came here to do is to make money, to improve our lives and improve the lives of our friends and family. And that's what is important. That's why we want to make this money, to improve our lives and to improve the lives of others. So that's all I have to say, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video and you enjoy my content, and it is of service to you and you like it, please, give it a like, share, comment, subscribe, blast it all over your social media. Like I say every video, guys, you guys don't know, how thankful I am to be accepted into the community. We've only been a channel for on the 5th it's gonna be a full on the 5th it's gonna be a full month, and we're up to, I think, 195 subscribers, and that really excites me, man. That we've grown so fast in so little time, and I made a lot of new friends, and it's just exciting. Thank you guys. Without you, this none of this could have been possible. That is it for me, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night. As always, take care and peace.